Hey all, this is Maitri Chauhan, and here with me I have Harsha. Here today we will be looking at our project. I'll be going through the project, the flow of our project, and we'll also share with you the analysis that we have done. So basically, this was a survey, and we have done this on an existing survey. And on the top of that, we have also added some more survey questions and factors that we thought will be of key importance. I'll start with sharing my screen. So are you able to see my screen, Harsha?
Yes.
Okay. So the original basic paper that we have taken into consideration is Factors Affecting Software Development and Productivity, which is an empirical study. We are 3 members in this team. I myself, Maitri, Harsha, and Sangeeta. We are doing this project under the course Software Productivity and Software Development under the Professor Sonia Haiduk. In this video today, we'll be sharing with you what are the different sections of the survey which is the original survey, and what are the extra sections that we have added. We will also share with you the contribution of each team member and the current status of the project. Apart from that, we'll share with you the survey questions that we have generated and the future work or the possibilities of this survey. So far, we have received 37 responses for the survey. And on the basis of the 37 responses that we have got, we have created the analysis chart. So starting with the introduction, the paper that we have kept as the original paper is Factors Affecting Software Development Productivity, which is an empirical study. This paper, it measures the efforts and it also measures the factors which impedes the productivity of a particular person who is generally a software developer. In the paper, it is generally described in various in just the 4 main factors, which are product, people, organization, and open source projects. These 4 different domains or the main different factors have 37 sub factors, which on the basis of which they have designed some types of influences questions. And then these 4 factors that the paper originally came up with, it was derived from the literature review of 57 different papers. So these 4 are the derived domains that the paper has gathered from 57 different studies. And the survey has some original 9 questions, and those questions are impact level questions, and those questions are gathered among 49 respondents. So this is what the current study is doing. What our goal is to mimic the current study, that is that we are going to take into consideration the 4 major SLR domains that the paper has taken care of, and apart from that we will also be adding 2 main factors to this survey. So the 4 main SLR reviewed factors are product, people, organization, and open source projects. Like I mentioned earlier, they have 37 new factors, 37 different sub factors, and it also has the type of influence as a result that is carried among 49 different respondents. So how did they come up with those primary study? How did the original paper come up with the primary studies is what is explained here. The original paper did a search on the keywords like software development with the keywords like productivity across various papers. And after the search execution, they got 198 papers. These 198 papers were further filtered with 67 papers that got rejected on the basis of titles and keywords, and 46 paper got accepted. And after that, they further rejected 21 papers. They added 57 papers, and they manually searched some 11 papers and added that 11 papers with this 46 papers, resulting in 57 papers. So all these factors that you see are the result of 57 research papers combined, and they have categorized and narrowed it down to 4 major factors. So, as much as we believe that these factors are gathered from 57 different papers, so they should be enough to decide which factors impede the productivity. But we also have our own opinions, and on the basis of that, we also have added some 2 more factors to these 4 factors. So we will see those factors later on. This is the paper's survey questions. So the paper has been using these questions to 42 respondents. They asked to various people, and they got the responses. And on the basis of the responses, this is what is the perception of the questions that they asked. So we have reused all the questions, mostly most of the questions that is there in the original survey questions. And on the top of that, we have added a lot of questions, because the original survey question just only has 9 questions, and so those questions were not enough. So we added a lot of more questions to these original survey. Now, the addition to the factors that we have done is work arrangement and external factors. So on the top of people, product, organization, we have also added, and projects, we have also added work arrangement and external factors, because we believe from our personal experiences at our respective workplaces that these 2 factors are also something that affect productivity but are not mentioned in that paper. So contribution of each team member, after having decided all the total factors, we have 6 factors now. So these 6 factors were divided among 3 people among each of us. So each of us took 2 factors. Harsha took 2 factors. Sangeeta took 2 factors, and I myself, Maitri, I also took 2 factors. All the questions and all the work that was done for any particular factor was done by the owner of that factor. So for instance, if for preparing the questions for people, Harsha has done all the questions regarding people and products. Sangeeta has done all the questions regarding organization and work arrangements, and I have done all the questions that are related to projects and external stressors. Apart from that, we have also now generated the analysis report, where we are gathering the insights and inferences that we have gathered for each individual factors. And these individual analysis is also done by the team member who has originally owned this factor. So keeping this in mind, all the questions that we will later on go through will be under these factors, and these factors we will see all the questions and their analysis. The current status of this survey is, we have created the survey with 6 subsections that I mentioned earlier, which are the 6 major factors. And we have sent this survey, we have distributed it to various platforms, we have sent it to LinkedIn, to our friends. All of us have personally shared it to their groups and their friends back in their home country and also here. And we have now gathered the data. We have gathered the data from 37 respondents. We have analyzed the responses, and we have also created the analysis report. Now forward from this time, we have questions. So now onwards, we'll have all the questions from these subsections. So the first subsection, like we said, was people and product. So this section Harsha has done. In this section, he has written some questions. So I'll go over the questions. Now, one thing to note, that in this PPT, I have only added the questions that are yes or no, or just multiple choice questions. In this PPT, I have not added textual questions because that is a future work. We are working on the questions that have textual responses, because we are going to do a word count on that. And so as that is a future possibility, I have not included textual questions in this PPT here. But like I said, we have done the analysis on multiple choice questions. So I'll explain with this. I'll start with the questions here. We started with how to get experience, like how to is to see if the person is having an experience in IT domain or not. So mostly around 30%, around 30 number of respondents say that they had experience with IT domain. So we are expecting those people who did not have experience with IT domain, they either did not complete the survey, or if they completed the survey, they would not be in the software development side, or they should be in the managerial side. So that is one assumption. Then we asked this specific question is because we wanted to know what all different location people are from, and there is also a future possibility that we want to do is we want to categorize our analysis on different locations. Right now, as only 37 people has done the survey, we don't want to constrict it to just that many number. We want to keep it increasing. Once we have the whole number, we'll categorize our data across different locations. So we have North America, South America, South Asia, North Asia, Europe, North Africa, and South Africa. So we will compare the results across different locations in future for the phase 3. Now, the question that we started with was, this is regarding the people. So do you believe that the number of years of experience of team member influences the productivity of software development? So like we said, some people have mentioned yes here, and a lot of people have also mentioned no. So this is just a multiple choice question. We wanted to know their response, and we wanted to know their opinion on this question, because we personally believe that the number of years of experience of team member influences the productivity. The interns take more time to get accustomed to the software, and so it may be difficult for them to get habituated to the practices of software development. So, but everyone has their own opinions. Then we introduce this question regarding motivation. Now, this factor comes under people. So if you see in product and people, we have, if you see in product and people, we have different subsections. So all these questions that we have generated are from these different subsections. Some questions can be even out of the domains mentioned here, and some can be from the domain that is mentioned in this area here. So we added this question because we have seen with personal experience that motivation is something that if a person is encouraged and if a person is well appreciated, he will always give his 100% to give the best results. And so a motivated person is always encouraged to work more, and not just work more, give quality of, but also give quality of work. So it indirectly improves the team's productivity and an individual's productivity as well. Then we added if the change in the team members impacts productivity. So we added this question because we have seen that there's a lot of attrition rate where people leave the companies and they join the company for higher pay scales, and then when they are not when they are not able to fit into the system, they don't feel motivated, and they get deprived of the new technology that they are working on, and so it improves the productivity, and they are not able to have a good developer experience there. So when they are changing the team members, it matters if the team member is well versed with with what software they are working on, and so the other team members should not be affected but with more workload if the team member that has newly come is not well accustomed with the software. So that was our idea behind adding this question, if or what an individual thinks. This was a question that is very basic, and that was mentioned in other words, not in the exact words but in other words in the original paper, and so we kept this question. One more question was lack of this question is a generic question. By this question we meant lack of diversity in different cultures and lack of diversity in different genders. So there's also the original paper also talks about the gender related issue with in the workplace. So and also the paper does not talk about the cultural diversity. There can be people from different races in a team, and we wanted to get this review from the respondents to see if the diversity in the team affects the productivity, so we added this question. This question is something that we have added from our personal experience, and we have seen that most of the times the end requirements from the clients are not clear, and that is maybe most of the time. If we see we don't feel like working, we don't feel like giving our 100% to the project because the client himself, or the uh, business person himself is not aware of what he's expecting from us. So even most of the people agree with us in this matter, but most of the a lot of people also said that it depends and they are not sure whether it affects the productivity. So we also have the textual response from this, where they are explaining why do they think of that. And so we are yet to do the analysis of that textual response. We'll do that for phase 3, where we'll generate word cloud and we'll get a better understanding of why did they select the maybe option and not yes option. Then we asked, do you believe that the complexity of application negatively impacts productivity? With this question, we expected people to give 100% yes, but still people here are a bit the outcome here is still scattered over yes and maybe. We still have majority of yes, but people still, there is a majority of portion that still thinks that complexity of application does not impact productivity, which could be the case if a person is very experienced. So we are expecting that the people who choose this are more experienced people and they are well versed with the complexity of the application. So then we added, do you think that a growing variety of programming languages in software development has potential effects on productivity? So when we designed this question, we had a clear view in mind that there are emerging new technologies and languages that is coming every other day, and it is very difficult to keep uh, to get your hands on in all these different technologies and languages. So this is something that is scary for us, because when we study Python and all of a sudden there's some new technology that comes into place and Python is all of a sudden replaced, it becomes difficult for a developer to change a language uh, overnight. And so the growing variety of programming languages, we were expecting people to give 100% yes, but there are still some people who said no, and maybe and we are assuming that this could also be because of the numbers of years of experience. That is, after a year of experience, after some years of experience, you get well versed with the technology, and so you should be able to adapt to new technology very easily. So that could also be the case. So there's a lot of surprising insights we got from the survey. We were expecting a clear yes or no, but the survey is the responses that we got is not that. Some people have um, very conflicting and varying uh, response, which we also encountered in the textual when we were looking at the textual responses. So this is something good. We got to know their new opinions, which may differ from our opinion. Then we added this question. So this is under the project part. This is under the product part of the factor. So we wanted to also see if the technology platform that one is using is impacting their productivity or not. This is a very controversial question. Documentation of the product. It seems a lot of people, even though, believe that it should be the documentation of the product should sorry, the documentation of products should impact the productivity, but there is a still majority of number of people who thinks that that is not the case. This is because some people don't work on product based company, they work on a software based company, and so they are just using language, or they are working on a project that is newly created, and so they would not need to have the documentation for that. But if the project is very old and it is not a startup based project, they would not need a good amount of documentation. So that is another thing. Then we added this question that was on knowledge management. So from here onwards, we start with the factor organization. So this was done by Sangeeta, and the response we got is what we expected. With this, we wanted to see if the organization that we are looking at has some measurement of how the knowledge training is happening, or how the knowledge mapping is done when a new employee comes. So this is the question that we added, and this is the response that we got from the users. This is another organization related question that we added. These all organization questions are from the original paper. We added this question with a viewpoint that we wanted to see if it is really the case where the people in the company wants to interact with other people, or they just think that they should be focused on the task that they are given and should not be culturally involved with other people. So we were expecting majority of yes, and that is what we got. And this is also a no-brainer question. Do you believe that having standardized software development like version control or coding standards impacts productivity? So this we expected people to also give majority of yes, which we also got. And there's one textual question on this is we asked the people what is the tool that they have used that has improved their productivity, and they have given a lot of tools. This is also again a no-brainer question. If I have all the necessary tools and resources that I want to work on, if I have that, it improves. If it gives me more flexibility to work on. And so it reduces the time spent on searching for better tool, and it reduces the time on uh, on something that the tool is good at, which the other tools don't give. Now, this is a good question. So we have added one more factor, like working arrangements. So this question originally it had to come under that factor, but the original paper also has one question on flexibility in work, and so we thought that this question is better if it goes under the organization, because the original paper does not explicitly talk about remotely working or the working arrangement of where and how the person is working. It just briefly mentions how flexible is a person with it in the working arrangements. And then this is again an organizational question. We wanted to ask from the respondents, and we wanted to see if the distribution of workload among team members is impacting the productivity or not. This is more related to documentation related question. So and it is more also user requirement questions. So we were expecting majority yes, and we also got that from the survey. From here onwards, we start the other two factors, that is um, project and external stressors. So from this slide onwards, we'll be talking about the other two factors. So from this slide onwards, we'll talk about the other two factors. Is my screen visible?
No, you can't see
Just a
it.
second. Yeah, so I've started sharing my screen again. This slide onwards, we are going to talk about the other two factors, that are projects and external stressors. So these two factors, I have worked on these two factors, and the questions that I prepared were, the first question I prepared was, do you think well-funded projects impact productivity? Now, this is something that is also addressed in the original question. So we have taken this exact question from, not the exact question, but we have modified the factor for this question, and has added that as one of the questions. We gave that as a multiple choice question. Then I've added a question that is related to, do you believe having contract jobs or um, or any formal agreements with the contributors impact the productivity? So through this question, I intended to investigate the influence of formal agreements and contracts in open source projects. So my personal belief is that such agreements can bring about clarity, structure, and accountability to the teams. So that is the reason I have added this question. Then I've added this question because I wanted to do a measure of if a decrease in interest or motivation among team members in open source project affect their productivity. And like it does affect the productivity, but we wanted to uh, discover what all reasons uh, does trigger the decrease in interest. So when I was doing this question, I had searched from different research papers, and some different research papers also has this idea, and also has uh, this inferences that decrease in interest is very common for any open source projects. So this inspired me to add this question to the paper. And then I wanted to see if there are any barriers that make it difficult for new team members to join. So we have also added a textual based question on this, where we talk about what are the barriers. Then we wanted to also talk about mental health here. The original paper does talk very little about mental health, and it does not include in the major important factors. But we wanted to include that in important factors, because it is important factor if a person is not mentally 100% capable, uh, and if a person is not uh, is having some issues with the mental health, it may affect the productivity of the team and also the productivity of the person in general. So it is important to address those questions. And so we asked if the organization does support or address some mental health concerns or not. And then we added some external stressors. So not only the factors that are related to the project or the product impacts the productivity, but there are some external factors, and this could be anything from family emergencies or family responsibilities to any personal stressor, even like mental health or illness that affect productivity. So we wanted to know if what majority of people thinks about these external factors. And to our surprise, this turned out to be uh, a- one of the important factors, because uh, the external stressor and personal stressors are also something that most of the time people don't talk about in the organization. So we also asked if they want any changes from the organization or support. And most of the people say team activities. Now, this question is regarding work arrangement and also external stressor. We wanted to see if there is some external stress that has been imposed on a person after started working from home. So we added this question, and most of the people said that it had affected them in a good way. And this is also what something we expected, because working from home gives them the flexibility to work at whatever place they want and with whatever environment they want. Our future work is will still we still have the survey active, so we'll keep monitoring the survey after today, and until the phase 3 submission. And we will create the inferences inside report for the rest of the data that we will gather. And we will also create the word cloud and for the textual responses. And then we will also do the location based survey. So that is for the future work. And this is all what we have done. So this concludes our presentation here. Harsha, do you want to say anything?
So here I would like to add some more points over here. So the main reason behind selecting the particular questions is like back back in our workplace we do have some experience in IT industry, and apart from that we had some research questions in in the paper which I have selected, and even some inferences from the research paper, the citations. So we have included all those factors and we have created the research questions, and majority of the responses which we have received are like the similar which is findings to the paper, and we would like to compare more in general in the future work to make use of the text data which we have in the survey questions, and we'll be comparing that with the findings of the paper in the coming project phase. So yeah, that's it from me.
Yes, Harsha. So here I conclude the presentation, and thank you for watching. Thank you, Professor. Thank you, team. Bye.
Thank you so much.